Think about swimming in honey instead of water. If you try to swim in honey, every movement is slow and requires a lot of effort because the honey is thick and sticky. This is how bacteria and tiny creatures move in their environments. They have to work against the high viscosity, thickness of the fluid, which is dominant at low Reynolds numbers. When you ride a bicycle on a smooth road, if you stop pedaling, the bike keeps moving for a while due to inertia. Now, imagine riding a bicycle on a sandy beach. If you stop pedaling, the bike stops almost immediately because the sand creates a lot of resistance. At low Reynolds numbers, fluids act like the sandy beach. Objects in the fluid stop as soon as the force stops. Think about watching a movie and then rewinding it. Everything goes back to exactly where it was before. At very low Reynolds numbers, fluid flow can be time reversible. If you push fluid in one direction and then reverse the push, the fluid returns to its original state, just like rewinding a movie. Mixing fluids at low Reynolds numbers is like stirring molasses. When you stir water, it mixes easily because the flow becomes turbulent. But when you stir molasses, it mixes very slowly because it's thick and sticky. This lack of turbulence makes mixing at low Reynolds numbers much more challenging. Microfluidic devices are like tiny labs on a chip that handle very small volumes of fluids. Imagine a tiny, intricate maze where fluids move smoothly and predictably, like a slow, controlled stream of honey through narrow channels. This precise control is crucial for applications like medical diagnostics, where mixing and reacting small amounts of liquids need to be done with high precision. Bacteria swim in a way that is optimized for low Reynolds number environments. Imagine trying to row a boat in a pool of syrup. Each stroke of the oar moves the boat only a little, and the syrup quickly stops the boat from moving further. Bacteria use tiny, whip-like structures called flagella to push against the viscous fluid around them, moving in a smooth, deliberate manner similar to rowing in syrup. Nanomachines, or tiny robots, must operate in environments where low Reynolds numbers dominate. Think of these nanomachines as tiny submarines moving through honey. They need to be designed to deal with the high resistance from the thick fluid, requiring them to push and pull in specific ways to move efficiently, just like trying to navigate a toy submarine through a dense, viscous liquid. Reynolds number is a way to describe whether fluid flow is smooth, laminar, or chaotic, turbulent. Recap through analogies. Smooth flow, walking through thick grass. Biological relevance, swimming in honey. No inertia, riding a bicycle on a sandy beach. Reversible flow, rewinding a movie. Difficult mixing, stirring molasses. These analogies help to visualize and understand the unique behaviors of fluids at low Reynolds numbers, making it easier to grasp the concepts. Now let's explore a key concept in fluid dynamics, the Reynolds number. This dimensionless number helps predict flow patterns in different fluid flow situations and is named after Osborne Reynolds. It's calculated using the velocity of the fluid, the characteristic length, like the diameter of a pipe, and the kinematic viscosity of the fluid. The formula is Re=sign, velocity asterisk length. Viscosity. A low Reynolds number indicates laminar flow, where the fluid moves in smooth, orderly layers. Conversely, a high Reynolds number indicates turbulent flow, which is chaotic and mixed. Understanding the Reynolds number is crucial for scientists and engineers as it helps predict how fluids will behave in systems such as pipelines, air conditioning systems, and even the human cardiovascular system. To better understand the Reynolds number, let's use some everyday analogies. Consider traffic flow on a highway. At low traffic density, cars move smoothly and predictably, similar to laminar flow at low Reynolds numbers, where each car, like each fluid particle, follows a clear path. Now imagine rush hour. Cars are bumper to bumper, changing lanes and moving unpredictably, akin to turbulent flow at high Reynolds numbers, characterized by more mixing and chaos. Another analogy is pouring syrup versus water. Syrup, which flows slowly and smoothly, represents a low Reynolds number, while water, which flows faster and can become turbulent, represents a high Reynolds number. These analogies help us grasp how the Reynolds number determines the nature of fluid flow, showing its importance in both everyday life and scientific research. At low Reynolds numbers, fluids behave in unique ways. The flow is smooth and predictable, with little mixing, and particles follow straight paths, a condition known as laminar flow. In environments where low Reynolds numbers prevail, viscosity dominates, meaning the internal friction of the fluid is more significant than its inertia. Imagine trying to move a spoon through honey. The honey's resistance to the spoon's movement is a result of its high viscosity. In these conditions, small forces can have a big impact. Tiny organisms, like bacteria, thrive in low Reynolds number environments using cilia and flagella to move through water, which behaves more like a thick syrup at their scale. At low Reynolds numbers, the distinction between laminar and turbulent flow becomes clear, a behavior that is crucial in fields like microfluidics, where precise control of fluid movement is necessary. Let's consider pouring syrup versus pouring water. Syrup flows slowly and steadily, almost oozing. This is due to its high viscosity and low Reynolds number. It moves in a controlled laminar manner. Water, on the other hand, flows quickly and can splash. Its lower viscosity and higher Reynolds number mean it can transition to turbulent flow more easily. The difference in behavior is striking. When you stir syrup, the movement is slow and uniform. The spoon moves through the syrup with resistance, and the syrup flows in smooth layers. Stirring water creates swirls and eddies, showing turbulent flow. These examples highlight how the Reynolds number affects fluid behavior. They make the concept of laminar versus turbulent flow tangible and relatable. Understanding these differences is crucial in various applications. Red blood cells navigate our bloodstream at low Reynolds numbers. This environment ensures smooth laminar flow. It allows them to travel efficiently, delivering oxygen throughout the body. In these conditions, the cells can move without being disturbed by turbulence. This is essential for their function. The smooth flow helps maintain the cell's shape and integrity. However, in larger vessels with higher Reynolds numbers, the flow can become turbulent. This can affect the cells and their ability to transport oxygen. Understanding these dynamics is vital for medical research and treatment. Studying how red blood cells behave in different flow conditions can lead to better medical devices and treatments. It can help in designing artificial blood vessels and improving drug delivery systems. Microfluidics, small-scale wonders. Microfluidics deals with the behavior of fluids at a microscopic scale. At this scale, low Reynolds numbers dominate. Fluids move in predictable, laminar patterns, allowing precise control. This field has revolutionized many industries. In medical diagnostics, microfluidics enables the development of lab-on-a-chip devices. These devices can perform complex tests with tiny fluid samples. In chemical engineering, microfluidics allows for precise mixing and reactions. It enables the creation of new materials and compounds with high precision. The ability to control fluid movement at this scale opens up new possibilities. Microfluidics also plays a role in environmental science. It enables the study of tiny organisms and their interactions with fluids. This can lead to new insights into ecosystems and environmental processes. Biological systems, nature's marvels. Nature has evolved to thrive in low Reynolds number environments. Many small organisms, like bacteria and plankton, move through water that behaves like a thick syrup at their scale. These organisms use specialized structures to navigate their fluid environment. Bacteria have flagella, which they rotate to propel themselves. Plankton use cilia to move and feed. These movements are effective in low Reynolds number conditions. Studying these organisms provides insights into fluid dynamics. It reveals how nature has adapted to different fluid environments. These insights can inspire new technologies and innovations. Understanding these biological systems can also lead to medical advancements. It can improve our knowledge of human health and disease. It can lead to new treatments and therapies. Environmental applications, a broader impact. Low Reynolds number fluid dynamics has significant environmental applications. One area is the study of pollutant dispersion in water bodies. At low Reynolds numbers, pollutants spread in a predictable manner. This helps in designing effective cleanup strategies. It also plays a role in understanding sediment transport in rivers and oceans. The movement of sediments affects ecosystems and human activities. Understanding these dynamics can help in managing waterways and coastal areas. Another application is in the design of efficient water filtration systems. These systems rely on predictable fluid flow to remove contaminants. Low Reynolds number fluid dynamics aids in optimizing these designs. These applications show the broader impact of studying low Reynolds number fluid dynamics. They highlight its importance in addressing environmental challenges and improving sustainability. Conclusion: the future of low Reynolds number research. Low Reynolds number fluid dynamics is a fascinating field with wide-ranging applications. From the movement of tiny organisms to the design of advanced technologies, it plays a crucial role in many areas. Understanding the basic principles, such as the Reynolds number and laminar flow, is essential. Using everyday analogies helps make these concepts accessible and relatable. The unique behavior of fluids at low Reynolds numbers opens up new possibilities. In fields like microfluidics, biological systems, and environmental science, this knowledge is transforming our world. Future research will continue to explore these dynamics. It will lead to new discoveries and innovations. The study of low Reynolds number fluid dynamics will remain a vital area of scientific inquiry.